Thank you for tuning in to another edition of the Vulcan Report. This end-of-day report is for trading on July the 10th, 2017. Quickly taking a look here at how the equity markets performed. And you can see here that looking at the ticker XIV, market inched up a little bit higher today. And this helped the stock market somewhat, helped it from, falling over a cliff, so to speak. So modest gains, to say the least. And you have your Kumo cloud that is kind of elongated here, so it's flattened out. And then you don't have a ramp until you get up to here. So by the end of July, it should be able to get up there. It could even do it sooner, but this is the trajectory that it's following. You can see how this conveys by looking at the NASDAQ 100. So we'll pull that up. All right, this is the futures contract looking at the daily bars, and you can see that it's a little bit more defined as far as downside is concerned. Tried to pop here and failed, and we only got back down again, but we do have somewhat of a pointer here, so I think prices are at some point going to try to get back above this Kumo cloud. And you can see here we've the downside just had no follow through whatsoever. And if you take a closer look, you will see that the support is paying attention to the bottom of the Kumo cloud. All right, so you're well supported there. And your resistance is here. And the market's trying to make a decision what it wants to do, but you're flat all up in here. All right, zero momentum all up in here inside the Kumo cloud. So it's tough to say if we're just going to consolidate until maybe the end of July, beginning of August, or can we get some fireworks and a possible retest of this point right here? Tough to say. We'll have to wait and see what the market has to give us, but as of right now, there's nothing there. And today was the debut of the Russell contract being traded on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange under ticker symbol RTY. Here's the little solo bar. You can see we ran up to 14.1930 and bottomed at 14.0370 before closing at 14.0860. So not a lot to do there. Just to give you an idea of how different the Russell situation is from the NASDAQ 100. Let me show you that. All right. You can see here the Russell has been at a very wide trading range. All right. And it hasn't gotten back up to its old highs. Kind of failed up in here and then just fell back down again. So flat, but you do have a somewhat similar situation in that you have a stretched out consolidation period from here to here. And this takes you to like the middle of August before you get to that ramp. So it could survive a dip here because then you have the rampage to pull it right back up again. So you're flat, you're consolidated, you're in a very wide trading range. Your support's down here around the 1398, 1400 level, and your top side's 1433. So you got about roughly, I want to say, I'll round it off and say about 35-point trading range in your Russell right now. Looking at gold. Gold here is trying to stave off a complete rollover scenario. It tried to do a little something today. Unfortunately, though, it's under so much pressure right now. The downside, more downside does seem imminent in gold at the moment on the daily chart. On the weekly chart, we're under the Kumo cloud. Remember the do or die scenario that I painted for you before? Well, that's kind of what it's looking like here all over again. To recall, we talked about this area here, which is very critical. All right, excuse me, either the market's going to break completely down at this point, or it's going to stage a rally. And it's running out of time to do it. This is the last week if it's going to do it. Last week was the most critical, but this week is like the last life preserver is being thrown into the water. If it's going to do something, it's going to need to do it now, because as we get out further out into the waters here, going this way, you're already in the Kuma cloud of death, and it gets really harder to fall out, and then you end up just going down here. All right, momentum pushes you that way, and as you can see, this is going out to October. Just a huge downside momentum gathering into October. If it can't get its act together here and stage a comeback rally. So this is where we are in gold right now. All right, taking a look at silver. All right, let's see. Slightly different scenario, but somewhat the same because of this time period here. It's so far below the Kuma cloud that it really doesn't matter at this point, though, for silver right now, unfortunately. All right, let's take a look at the miners. Let's see. All right, you can see the miners here on the GDXJ trying to do a little something, trying to stage a comeback rally here, and not enough oomph in it to get above the momentum line, but it is at least trying to work its way back up. And just remember too that the GDXJ does have a crash alert for the week here, but it is not playing out just yet. But we'll see if it can't get above 32.35 on a close this week, then it's definitely going to open up more downside for next week on the GDXJ. All right, let's look at the Bitcoin now. All right, you can see here more weakness so far. All right, not too much going on. This is going to need to close above 37 cents this week in order to lock back in any kind of positive momentum in ticker BITCF. All right, and if you look at the GBTC is the same scenario here. It's flat. It's a lot flatter than the other one, than its counterpart. Needs to close above 393.16 though this week in order to try to lock back in some kind of bullishness. BTSC needs to close this week above let's see, looks like 8 cents. And it's really been struggling. As you can see, this is the third down week in a row so far to where it's under development right now. It's underway, and you know, you got support down here at this trend line at 3 cents, but if we get down there, I think it's just going to crash right through it. Just not looking good right now in the space overall, to say the least. Looking at crude oil today, crude oil is still weak, trading at 44.55 right now. You can see it's below its momentum too, and it's in the Kumo cloud of death, which is not a good ingredient. Needs to close above 45. We'll make it 13 in order to lock back up some momentum for the week, but still you're in this wide Kumo cloud. Bottom side 40, top side like what's that, 48, almost 50. That's just a wide range, man. It's gonna take some work to get out, and it's probably not gonna be able to do much. If it breaks out here, this is a strong resistance, it should knock it back down to 40. If it manages to stay above, then the next level is here. It runs a good chance of getting out of the Kumo cloud if it can get up here by at least the middle of October. That's where we are in the oil. All right, and let's take a look, last but not least, let's take a look at these bonds. Bonds have really pulled back. It's doing exactly what I thought it was going to do. Came up here to this resistance and got spooked, and now the momentum is pushing it right back down again, which plays right into the Fed's hands. It swings the door wide open for, as these bond prices now are in fall off the cliff mode, for them to raise those interest rates. So interesting times we are in, to say the least. So with that being said, remember, bulls make money, bears make money, and pigs get slaughtered. So remember to take what you can and give nothing back. Peace out. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of the Vulcan Report. This end-of-day report is for trading on July the 10th, 2017. Quickly taking a look here at how the equity markets performed. And you can see here that looking at the ticker XIV, market inched up a little bit higher today. And this helped. And you can see that it's a little bit more defined as far as downside is concerned. Tried to pop here and failed, and we only got back down again, but we do have somewhat of a pointer here, so I think prices are at some point going to try to get back above this Kumo cloud. And you can see here the stock market somewhat helped it from, falling over a cliff, so to speak. So modest gains, to say the least. And you have your Kumo cloud that is kind of elongated here, so it's flattened out. And then you don't have a ramp until you get up to here. So by the end of July, it should be able to get up there. It could even do it sooner, but this is the trajectory that it's following. You can see how this conveys by looking at the NASDAQ 100. So we'll pull that up. All right, this is the futures contract looking at the daily bars. Here we've the downside just had no follow through whatsoever. And if you take a closer look, you will see that the support is paying attention to the bottom of the Kumo cloud. All right, so you're well supported there. And your resistance is here. And the market's trying to make a decision.